Back with part 3, the conclusion of my January vinyl finds. So this is basically all stuff I got from Mulligan. Mostly all progressive rock. First one that I came across, I recognized the cover right away, but I just wasn't certain as to whether or not it would be in good shape. And that happens to be the 1970 classic Third by Soft Machine. And yeah, this is quite the album. They were part of the Canterbury scene. And, you know, it's very different from all the other progressive rock bands that were coming out at the time, you know, King Crimson, you know, and Pink Floyd. You know, they were very different because their sound was kind of, it was progressive rock, but it was kind of jazzy. You know, it was like jazz. And also very avant-garde at the same time. There's hardly any vocals on this, except for the song Moon in June. There's some vocals on that song from Robert Wyatt, the drummer, who would, you know, he would have a career as a solo artist in the 70s until, I'm not quite sure exactly when, but he had suffered a career-ending injury from the drums in 1973 when he fell out of his window, or he fell out of a window. He basically he was a paraplegic afterwards, and he no longer could play the drums, and then he went on to have a solo career as a keyboardist, doing his own solo work, and also doing stuff as a you know, guest musician on countless works. But he will be remembered. He's remembered for being a part of the Soft Machine back in the day as their drummer and also vocalist at times. And yeah, this is just a really good album. And I'm really happy to have this classic tagged to the collection. Renaissance, Turn of the Cards. And it's artwork from Hipgnosis. This was fronted by a female lead singer named Annie Haslam. And yeah, they technically are a, you know, they're a progressive rock band, but they're also kind of like progressive folk, art rock type of band. And, you know, pretty much a male-dominated, you know, music. Like when progressive rock music is technically, you know, a male-dominated genre, but there were bands, certain bands, well, particularly this and another band, Curved Air, that featured a female lead singer. And the other was a singer that went by the name of Sonia Christina. It's pictured right here, and she's considered to be, or was considered to be, a sex symbol, surprisingly, of the progressive rock world, because you don't really find that a lot. The only sex symbol of the progressive rock world, because, you know, again, you don't really expect to see that. But yeah, she's got a very good voice, and some really good stuff on here. Yeah, it's a good find. And then just as I was about to leave, the guy that was helping me out pay, excuse me, he basically had told me about some progressive rock that they had just gotten in. And so the records that he had showed me, he had only showed me a few. He had told me that he had some Gentle Giant in, and they hadn't kind of gotten that all worked out where, you got the pricing and whatnot, all the other details. So I was, like, okay, I'll wait till I get another opportunity to get it, if I do get an opportunity. So he had showed me a few records, another record by Renaissance, another record by Mike Oldfield, and then he showed me this one. Now, this is, of course, a progressive rock classic, Aqualung by Jethro Tull. What more can you say about this record? I mean, this is a true classic of the progressive rock genre from 1971. You got the hits Aqualung, Cross-Eyed Mary, Hymn 43, and Locomotive Breath. And when I saw the record, I looked at the condition as I was about to pay, and I wasn't too certain if I wanted to get it because of just the way it looked. I was thinking to myself, well, you know what? It's it's got some wear. It's got some slight scratches on it, some scuffs, and I thought the same thing as well about Soft Machine's Third. I was not too certain about that one, but I paid for it. And hoping that fingers crossed, it would play they would play well, and surprisingly they do. There's a bit of surface noise on both those records, but you know what? That's totally fine. I can do. I'm totally fine with there being some surface noise. Here's the gatefold. But yeah, this is a great album. Great progressive rock, folk rock, hard rock, art rock, concept album. The final records I have that I'm going to show you. Another progressive rock album. Some more by Yes. This is Relayer. This is the only album to feature Patrick Moraz, a Swiss keyboardist who replaced Rick Wakeman. Here's the gatefold. Features 3 songs. And very different from the stuff they did prior to this, more leaning towards jazz fusion. And that's mainly thanks to Patrick Moraz. That's the guy who basically kind of pushed them towards sounding very, jazz fusion oriented. But it's still very much a progressive rock album through and through. But yeah, I mean, songs like The Gates of Delirium and Sound Chaser and To Be Over, like those are some pretty epic songs. And yeah, it's a good find. The Golden Palominos. This is Blast of Silence. Asked My Baby for a Nickel. This is basically alternative rock. And, this band technically is just a project of drummer Anton Fier, who is a part of the Feelies, and the Feelies are known for the album Crazy Rhythms. So basically what it is just a band. They were technically a band of, like a revolving door of players. Anton Fier was the only consistent member because it is his band. But you have some guest appearances from Chris Stamey, Sneaky Pete Kleinow, who's part of the Byrds. You have Matthew Sweet. You have Jack Bruce of Cream. Who else is on here? Don Dixon, T-Bone Burnett, or Burnett, or however you pronounce it. Who else is on this? Pat Thrall. Yeah, basically, you have some pretty famous musicians on here that were part of the power pop and non-power pop, world of music. So yeah, it's a good album. It's not a great album, but it's a good listen. It's got some good stuff on there. And I might as well show you this one I got recently, just this week, and it's another record by Renaissance. This is In the Beginning. Essentially, this is a compilation that features 2 of their albums in one set. Here's the gatefold. So basically what it is, it's Prologue and Ashes Are Burning. I haven't listened to it yet, but I know that from what I've read through a review is that, it's considered to be like an album that isn't, so good in terms of its editing, or its mixing, I should say, because of, editing and mixing. I guess it's, the mixing is flat, and the editing on one particular song, I think, is either from Prologue or Ashes Are Burning. One of the songs is edited down a bit, and it's kind of one of the things that is a major flaw from this record. It kind of bothered me at first, but I think now, going into it, I honestly think that, it's really nothing to kind of beat myself up about, regretting having bought this, because I hardly know anything of Renaissance except for the other album that I showed you. So going into this, I'll just make what I have of it and move on. So yeah, it's a good find. And that pretty much does it for my record finds from the month of January. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, let me know what you think of all 3 of my videos, and I'll be back again next month with some more finds from a record show I'm going to be going to. So stay tuned for that, and yeah, so thanks for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye.